trying to make the lighting appear at least vaguely decent in winter is just so difficult and really irritating. In other news, I finally finished The Hobbit. Yay! If you haven't read it, and especially if you're going to go see the film when it comes out, I would definitely recommend you reading it, because it's a good book, and it's the sort of book that loads of people have read, even if they're not into reading, because it's a really easy book to read. It won't take very long at all. I know it's taking me weeks from starting it to finishing it, but that's because I didn't read it a lot. That wasn't because I was struggling or anything. That's just because I stopped reading and started doing other things instead. Like lots of work and making friends as well and talking to people. Yeah, talking to people. You're just as surprised as I am. But it's understandable that you might think that given how epic The Lord of the Rings is, that this would be just as difficult to read. But it really isn't. It's meant as a kid's story. So therefore it's really not as hard going as Lord of the Rings is. And once you've read this, you might think, okay, now I would quite like to read The Lord of the Rings, and I will do it, and force yourself to read it, which will be good, because The Lord of the Rings is good as well, if long. Sorry about the shaky camera as well, by the way, because I have my laptop balanced in a box on my bed, and I'm sat on the bed, so obviously whenever I move, everything else moves as well. So yeah, sorry about that. So as you probably know if you've been watching my videos recently, I'm going to York this afternoon. I'm actually being picked up to be taken to the train station in just about, I'm a mathematician, I should be able to work this out, I'm a mathematician therefore I can't work this out, 25 minutes. Now that I'm officially like a university mathematician. Simple arithmetic, nope, not needed. Numbers, what are they? Although I am doing physics, which does occasionally involve numbers, so I don't actually have that much of an excuse. But you know. So yep, going back to The Hobbit, I will be seeing this on Friday night, and we'll probably be talking about it in a video at some point after then, because I'm really excited about it, and I'm really interested, as well as very skeptical, to see how they do it, because with them splitting it up into 3 films, I'm not convinced that there's enough material in one book, in a book as small as this. I know this is the pocket edition, but even with my other copy, which I don't know where it is, I think it's behind there, which is like the same height and width as my copies of The Lord of the Rings, it's still smaller than any of the 3 Lord of the Rings books. And yes, the Lord of the Rings films are quite long, but there's still not as much material in the whole of The Hobbit as there is in each book for Lord of the Rings. So really, how much can you drag it out? I'm very cynical, and I'm very tempted to say that it's just a money-making scheme. But at the same time, I want to reserve judgment until I've seen them all. Because I know that Peter Jackson has said that he's drawing quite a lot on the appendices and all the other stuff that Tolkien wrote, which is a lot. But I'm just not convinced that you can make 3 movies out of one little book. And I'm especially worried because the idea I've heard is that The Hobbit will tie in more to The Lord of the Rings film-wise than it does with the books already. So that means making it more similar in tone to Lord of the Rings, when it's not really meant to be like that. The Hobbit is a kid's book. It's meant to be quite light-hearted in comparison to The Lord of the Rings. So I'm not convinced that it will work. And that worries me, because it has the potential to be so great. And Martin Freeman and Bilbo Baggins, I'm sure, will be amazing. Because Martin Freeman, it sounds like such perfect casting. So that's it for today. I need to go and make sure that I'm ready to go. So that means quick editing! This could be potentially disastrous. Yep, I need to go. I will see you tomorrow when I will be in York. Going and see the film. Yeah. If you haven't